Now, switching gears to this, the Democrats are bringing their TDS global. Several potential 2028 contenders playing pretend president at the Munich Security Conference, with all eyes on AOC and your boy Gavin Newsom.
Donald Trump is temporary. He'll be gone in 3 years. Buck up, wake up. I mean, I made some pretty aggressive comments in Davos. I think I handed out knee pads on stage. I'm under assault attack by this guy every single day. Here's the President of the United States. He's 80 years old, and he's calling me a nickname that an 8-year-old called me, new scum.
They are looking to withdraw the United States from the entire world so that we can turn into an age of authoritarians that can carve out the world where Donald Trump can command the Western Hemisphere and Latin America as his personal sandbox.
And while they were crowing overseas, President Trump was celebrating with troops in North Carolina with some really good economic numbers, like inflation cooling in January to 2.4%. Watch this.
We just had fantastic reports on inflation, way down. Costs of products, way down. We inherited a mess, total mess, and now it's really coming along. We have the greatest numbers that we've ever had. We're hitting all-time high stock numbers. We're hitting all-time high S&P and Dow numbers. You saw that a few days ago at the end of the first year. They said that it was going to take maybe 4 years, the end of the term, to hit 50,000 on the Dow. We did it in 1 year.
Pretty great numbers and certainly an exciting sort of pace. What do you make of the numbers that the president talked about, and what does it mean for all of us?
Well, it means for consumers, that is great news. So one of the talking points a lot of liberals and progressives have been trying to latch on to is that prices are still very high and that the Trump economy has been exacerbated by inflation. He has not solved inflation, but when you come down 2.4% in January, in addition to having a really great jobs picture, that's bad news for people who are trying to hang economic doom and gloom on the president. So while he is shifting to focus on domestic policy, you've got the 2028 Democratic hopefuls who are now trying to pretend like they've got a lot of chops on foreign policy. Unfortunately for AOC, she threw together a word salad in her little Tupperware that she packed in her roller bag for the flight that was so incomprehensible. It sounded like a seventh grader who had a book report and didn't remember until they walked into their third period English class and just tried to wing it. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. She didn't sound serious. And I think Gavin Newsom is taking stock in what she's doing. My former favorite rivalry in the Democrat Party was Newsom versus Harris. Now it's Newsom versus AOC. And I hope they politically destroy each other.
So, Kayleigh, I saw too a theme there where, first of all, they seem to be intimating or downright positing that Donald Trump is going somewhere, that there's an end to that party and to MAGA and to his popularity, and also somehow that I think they have more sway at this moment than they do, right? Gavin Newsom touting himself on the back for strong words in Davos. When we remember, he said, breaking news, he didn't get into a party. So what we saw was really unserious for a while, but now it looks like they're trying to play serious.
Yeah, they're clearly both running for president, AOC included. Ronald Reagan in 1986 said he had discovered the scariest words in the English language, and they were, hi, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. I added the hi, so that's 10 words. Well, I discovered the 5 scariest words in the English language. It's these. AOC ventures into foreign policy. I looked up at our Chiron, that's the lower third there, as I was walking to my office, and I saw AOC ventures into foreign policy. And I was frightened at the thought of this woman being commander-in-chief. Equally frightened at the idea of Gavin Newsom being commander-in-chief. When you look, his remarks are apparently going to be about the economic need for climate action. He must have missed when Bill Gates came out and said that, we're not an existential threat of the world ending because of climate change. He must have missed the Gallup poll this year that said climate change is a 3% issue, 3%. So play to the 3%. You need 51% to win a presidential election. But let me say this, whether it's AOC, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, you name it, Amy Klobuchar, none of them have the fortitude, the strength, the bravery President Trump had. None of them would have bombed Fordo. None of them would have captured Maduro. None of them would have used tariffs and leveraged great deals for the United States. None of them would have had an armada encircling Iran and bringing Iran to its knees. None of them could do that. President Trump will be known as a great economic president. I agree with you. This is a year it's going to be an economic boom. But he is going to be known as one of the greatest foreign policy presidents of our time. None of them have the, quote, cojones, I'll use it in Spanish, that President Trump have.
So, Greg, now that, let's say, and if President Trump doesn't have a third term, the reality is that they're not running against him. They're running against his legacy and against his successor. So what does that look like? Do all of a sudden they get bigger real estate?
What was Gavin's central message? By the way, he puts the ick in Munich. His central message was, wait him out. Trump is temporary. What is that message for America? He just told Europe that America first is bad because he's saying that's what's temporary. He goes, look, 3 years, we'll be back to being the compliant giant, showering you with taxpayer money, bending over, supporting your stupid climate policies. And this will all be some kind of bad dream. And I've used this lawyer question in the past. Do you want a lawyer that puts you first or a lawyer that puts his reputation and relationships with others first? And Gavin is that lawyer. He's telling the court that even though I represent this guy, which is, America, he certainly won't make it that relationship difficult for everybody else. He goes, yeah, I tell them I'm working for them, but, this case will be done in a few days. We'll play golf, I'll get you into the country club. AOC and Gavin, they look like lightweights on the international stage because they've been so preoccupied with climate, trans, DEI, sanctuary cities that those muscles have atrophied. They don't know anything about the foreign policy. They're essentially doing the grunt work for our adversaries. If Trump were a majestic tree, Kayleigh, they would root for the termites. AOC talked about authoritarianism, but she didn't mention China, Russia, Iran, Afghanistan, which all have significant limits on human rights. She talked about the freest country on earth while she was in Germany, which can put you in jail for insulting people. If you insult an individual, they could have imprisoned AOC for what she said about Trump if Trump had been like a German citizen when she said, I think in 2024, that he echoed Hitler. Lastly, the climate policy stuff, they said they wanted direct action there. They got it. Trump revoked the endangerment finding, which is the largest deregulation in history, saving $1.3 trillion for consumers on buying cars. That's a big deal. That is direct action. Yeah. And for that, I'll see my way out.
There it goes. And of course, but Barack, tweets about how it's setting us back light years. Jesse, your thoughts on any of the above?
So I watched both speeches, and I was expecting Gavin to do really well, and AOC blew him out of the water. She started off shaky, but then she landed. Her main message was that if democracies don't deliver for the working class is going to vote in strongmen. And the strongmen are going to tear apart the world. They're going to carve it up. Trump has the West, Putin has Europe, Xi has the Pacific, and all is going to go to hell. So in order to stop that, we have to raise taxes on the wealthy. We just have to bust up the monopolies and redistribute the wealth. A lot of people aren't going to go for that, but at least that's a coherent message. Gavin came in and just gave the stump speech on climate that he's given for decades. And he said the exact opposite of what AOC said. He said what Greg said. He said, you don't have to worry about anything. He'll be gone in 3 years. I'm the next president. We're going to go back to business as normal. Green New Deal, globalism, nothing's changed. And that's not the message. This world is changing fast. But Donald Trump, his agenda is starting to land. And that's the backdrop of all of this. They're running that things are bad, but look at what we have on inflation with incomes, the stock market, rates are coming down, crime, illegal immigration. If this starts to set in and drive in, we have 3 years of peace and prosperity, a strong and safe world, and that just sets J.D. Vance up to capitalize big time and just run with this thing. And if that's what happens, J.D.'s got it.
#layup.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.